Just because you like a country, just because you love a particular destination, doesn't make it the best place for you to study in. This is why in this video we are going to be dissecting, we're going to be talking about how to choose a study destination. On this channel, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking recently a lot about studying abroad. In the very first video, we did talk about why it's important, the advantages, the misconceptions, and disadvantages. Today, let's talk about how do you actually know which study abroad destination is good for you as an international student. If this is something that you're interested in, then let's dive straight into the video. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and of course, continue to subscribe to the channel. How do you know which country is good as a study destination? Reason number one, what do you want to study? Is the country offering the course that you want to study? Let's take, for instance, you want to study something in the technology field, then definitely you should be thinking about the United States, Canada, UK. But if you're thinking about studying, say, social sciences, politics, admin, I would recommend you come to Europe. So my point is, the study program that you're interested in should be the primary indicator or factor that makes you to want to go to a particular place. But what you want to do is not just to look at what they are offering, because you can find these things everywhere, but see what they are good at. So it's not enough that the country is offering it. Is that country the best at offering that course? Reason number two, budget, finances. Can you afford it? Can you afford the program in that particular country? There are some course choices that you can have in country A that will be way cheaper than in country B. So if your option is to go to the country where the cost choice is higher, you may want to rethink your decision and go to a country that is offering the same course or similar course at a relatively cheaper price. Another thing that is important to think about when you are choosing a study destination is the law of the country. Does that country have a reputation for being friendly to immigrants? Because you're going to somewhere else, you're going to a different country, you're going to a place where you're a stranger, you're an alien to that country, and you need to be sure that the laws can protect you, that the laws are friendly to outsiders, to people that are not from that place. Another thing to think about is, does that law allow you to move with your family members? For instance, if you're someone that already has a family, maybe a partner, kids, can you move with them? Is that a possibility? So those are things that you need to think about before you move to a country as an international student. The fourth reason for choosing a particular destination for studying will be about security. For instance, if I am going to move to a location, it doesn't matter whether for study or for anything, even if it's for a conference, I need to do my research and find out, is it safe for me? I'm a woman, I'm a black woman, I'm a Christian black woman. If I am moving to a place, how favorable are these laws? How receptive is the country, the people, to black women, to Christian black women? Those are factors that, underlying factors that I think about, that I take into consideration before I make a decision about moving to a particular place. And I think that it's very necessary for everyone to continue to think in this light, because when you are going to a place, you need to be sure that your safety can be prioritized as you are in that place. As long as, for instance, I can practice my religion, my belief, I can be myself in a way that does not interfere in the personal liberty or safety of any other person, then I want to know and be sure that I can be safe. When making a plan to relocate to another country as an international student, one important thing that you need to also think about is, can you work as a student? Gone are the days where when you go to school, you just go to school. Times are changing. Things have become harder. It's important for students to work while they go to school. Of course, if you have the means to just study without doing a part-time job or anything by the side to give you money to support yourself, then that's fine. But if not, can you support yourself? I'm not saying that go and get a full-time job where you neglect your studies, but I'm thinking that when I studied with all my masters, there were times when I did part-time jobs, and it's helpful. It also makes you more responsible. So one thing to think about is, as a student in a particular location, are you allowed to work? Take that into serious consideration before choosing to go to a place. You can choose to go deeper and research how much each country is paying. Say, for instance, students are allowed to work 20 hours in a week. How much is 1 hour for a part-time job? Say you're working in a restaurant, say you're working in a company as a clerk, or whatever part-time job you find. How much are you being paid? And compare it from one country to the other. Then you're going to be able to make a better and more informed decision. More linked to this will be, can you easily get a job after studies? Say you go and study in a place like the United States where you have like schools that are really good with technology and tech stuff. Can you easily get a job? Can you easily integrate into the system? Can you easily start a life after that if you love the place and you want to? Those are things that you also need to take into consideration before you make a particular decision about a place of study. Another thing that it's important to check before you choose a country as a study destination is the language, the culture, the food. You're going to live in this place. You cannot always, like as a Cameroonian, most of the times when we find somebody that is going back home, we keep asking them to bring us Cameroonian spices, Cameroonian food, and things like that. But you're not always going to find someone that is going back home, and you cannot always afford to eat things from your home country because it's expensive. So you need to be sure that you understand what the culture is, what the people eat, what the language is. For language, do you want a predominantly English speaking, predominantly French speaking, or other languages? So if you think that, for instance, moving to Belgium where you have to live in a Flemish zone, for instance, and they speak Flemish, or you have to live in Brussels where they speak French. I mean, they speak a lot of English in Brussels, but the official language is French. So if you have to come and you have to learn French or Flemish, is that something that you're willing to do? Is that something that you're open to doing? But if it's not, then maybe you want to consider like the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, where they speak English. I mean, they do speak French in some parts of Canada, but you get the drift. So you need to think about the language before you make a decision. The culture is important because that's a culture that you're going to become part of as you stay in that country. My most favorite thing when choosing a study destination will be healthcare. I do not care for most of the other points that I made. This, for me, it's my most important point. How is the healthcare system? Mind you, if you are not healthy, you cannot study, you cannot work, you cannot learn the language, you cannot do anything. Your health is the most important. So when choosing a study destination, consider the healthcare system in that country. Consider the insurance system. In one of my videos, I did say that I pay about 100 euros for healthcare in Belgium for a whole year. In 2025, I will pay about 180 euros for the entire year, but it's been increased because it will include 2 of my kids attached to me. So 3 of us will pay that amount, and it will be a hospitalization insurance. Every time we're sick, it's covered. So when you are thinking about moving to a place, think healthcare. As a Cameroonian, this will not easily be something that I will think about if I'm leaving Cameroon for the first time, because in Cameroon, when you're sick, you just go. People do have insurance, but it's not very common for an average Cameroonian to take an insurance policy, health insurance policy. So I will not think about it, because when you're sick, you just go to the hospital, you do your test and pay directly and buy your medications by yourself. But it's not the same here, where you can go to the hospital overnight and you get a bill for like 2,000 euros. I spent a night with my son who was sick at the hospital, and the bill is about 2,100 euros, something like that. So imagine paying that. That's millions in CFA for one night, 24 hours. They were just observing him. They did not do anything important like that. Imagine if they actually ran so many different deep tests, it would have been more than that. So think about your health care before you move to a place, because you do not want to be stranded in a place where you have gone to the hospital, or you are sick and you're in need of health care but you cannot access it. So guys, that's it for this video. I hope you did enjoy and you now have an idea of the things that you need to consider before you choose a study destination. Let me know in the comment section if these factors are important, or if there are other factors that you also consider or you would like to consider. Until we meet again, guys, please do not forget to create some impact.